We are all familiar with the USDA Food Pyramid. It was an easy-to-understand visual display that promised that if you ate mainly from the food choices at the bottom of the pyramid, you'd achieve a healthy, balanced diet. Unfortunately, since that advice came out, obesity and diabetes rates have skyrocketed, indicating that it wasn't the cure-all we'd hoped it would be. Still, I like the clarity of the pyramid graphic, so I thought, why not use it to simplify low-carb and keto snacking? Let's take a look at what I came up with, and I invite you to comment and fill in any gaps that I may have missed. Let me start by saying that it is best to fill up at mealtime and avoid snacking altogether. Following that eat, stop, eat pattern gives your body rest from the energy-demanding process of digesting food. It also helps control that primal urge to keep eating once you start, which can turn a small snack into a big calorie intake. With that said, we all experience changes in the flow of our day that make it right to have a snack. When you are following a keto or low-carb diet, you need to know the best choices. So let's start filling up the bottom shelf of our snack pyramid. The foods at the bottom of the pyramid are low in carbs and high in fat, making them acceptable for a keto diet. And I use the terms keto and low carb separately on purpose. While there's no established cutoff, it is generally accepted that for a 2,000 calorie per day diet to be considered low carb, your carb intake would be below 125 total grams. To be considered in the keto range, it would drop to less than 50 grams per day. Also, how much of each snack you can have is up to your metabolism and goals. This pyramid is simply sharing the best choices. All right. On the bottom shelf, I have beef sticks or meat left over from a meal. These items are high in carbs and fat, but not in carbohydrates. That is, as long as the beef stick you buy does not contain added sugar and flavorings. Read the label. There are good choices out there like Paleo Valley, but you'd be surprised how many commercial beef sticks have additives that you don't want. Leftover chicken or turkey also made the list, as did shrimp and smoked salmon. I listed them separately from beef because they are not as high in fat. That's not bad, but they may not be as hunger satiating due to the low fat content. Also, beware of high sugar sauces like cocktail sauce. Adding the wrong sauce can quickly turn a keto-friendly snack into an insulin spiking problem. Sardines also earned a spot on the pyramid because they work for some people, but are not everyone's favorite snack, including me. Cheese is a good source of protein and fat, making it a satisfying keto snack for those who tolerate dairy. Certain hard cheeses like Parmesan can be turned into homemade crackers by simply putting them in the oven to crisp up. You can also find commercial brands of cheese crisps, but as with any packaged food, read the label to avoid unwanted ingredients and watch your portion size. Hard-boiled eggs are sometimes overlooked as a snack, but they very much deserve their spot here on the bottom shelf due to their keto-friendly macronutrient ratio and convenience. You can hard-boil a batch of eggs at the beginning of the week and have them ready to go at a moment's notice. You can eat them with nothing more than a sprinkle of salt and pepper, or turn them into deviled eggs by adding full-fat mayonnaise and mustard. These condiments maintain the favorable macros of hard-boiled eggs and add a lot of satisfying flavor. Olives made the bottom shelf. They are fruit, so they contain some grams of carbs, but also provide healthy fats and a distinct flavor, which can be appealing as a snack. Dill pickles are also included here because of their unique salty flavor and crunch. They are low in fat and protein, so alone they may not do much to satisfy hunger, but they can be eaten along with other keto snack choices to add some flavor. Non-starchy vegetables with full-fat dip, guacamole, or cream cheese work as snacks. Non-starchy dipping vegetables include celery, broccoli, cauliflower, cucumbers, and bell peppers. Carrots walk the line between starchy and non-starchy, so limit them if you are low carb and avoid them if you are keto. Now, when I say full fat, I mean not low fat. Many dairy products like dip, mayo, cheese, and yogurt have low fat versions, so you will want to be aware of that when you make your selection. Having that fat in your snack will add calories, but it will also satisfy hunger, making it easier to make it to your next meal without feeling like you need something more. As for beverages, coffee or tea with heavy cream can work as a snack, taking the place of syrupy lattes. Some on a keto diet also like stirring in MCT oil or other fats, so that can work as well. And while we're talking about snacks you can drink, bone broth makes the list. I'm not talking about the bone stock that you grab from your grocery store. I'm talking about broth that results when bones are slowly cooked for many hours. This pulls out the collagen, which is very healthy for your joints, skin, hair, and nails. Drinks that did not make the pyramid include protein shakes and smoothies, not because they are inherently unhealthy, but because there are too many variations. For example, there are thousands of commercial protein shakes on the market. Some of them are nice and clean, and others are filled with a laundry list of ingredients, including sugar. As for smoothies, you can make a healthy homemade smoothie that is packed with ingredients like spinach, avocados, nut butter, and seeds. Those are all good things, but that homemade drink will be high in calories, acting more like a meal than a snack. And note that everything I mentioned above contains calories and macronutrients, so if you're practicing intermittent fasting, you would want to wait until your eating window opens to consume any of those. What breaks a fast is beyond what we'll cover in this video, but you can see my video on that topic if you are interested. Okay, those are the best snack choices filling the bottom shelf. If you are following a keto diet, focus your options on that bottom tier. If you allow more carbs into your diet, you can choose from the higher shelves. So let's move to shelf number 2. Snacks on this tier contain more grams of carbohydrates than those on the bottom or have a controversial health value, so they should be looked at as occasional snacks. One of my favorite snacks is raw nuts and seeds. They have a wonderful mix of healthy fats, proteins, and carbs for hunger satisfaction. But you'll do best if you measure out 1 serving before you start eating. Otherwise, they are easy to overeat. You can lightly toast them if you wish, but don't buy them roasted because they are most likely roasted in unhealthy vegetable or seed oil. Many different raw nuts can work depending on your carb tolerance, including Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, and almonds. The tricky one is peanuts, which are actually not nuts but legumes, so they are high in carbs and do not fit on our pyramid. Seeds have a nutrient profile that is similar to nuts. Because of their small size, they aren't overly snack-worthy by themselves, but can be worked into simple recipes. For instance, raw sunflower seeds can be stirred into yogurt, and chia seeds can be mixed with almond milk to make chia pudding. Bacon made the second tier. It is low in carbs, but has a controversial reputation because of saturated fat and nitrates. I have a video on saturated fat if you are interested in that discussion. I will tell you, I eat bacon and often have cooked bacon strips in my refrigerator to use as a snack or in a recipe. I also eat a lot of antioxidant-rich vegetables that prevent nitrates from being converted into nitrosamines, which are the compounds linked to cancer risk. Beef jerky is included here as well. I put it on shelf 2, not shelf 1, because the quality varies. If you are eating it out of a package, read the label to avoid added sugar or other unwanted ingredients. A couple of dairy products that made the second shelf are cottage cheese and yogurt. Here again, you want full-fat varieties, so look for unsweetened brands made with 4 to 5% milk fat and leave the sweetened, low-fat varieties at the grocery store. Dark chocolate also made the second tier, but only those with 85 to 100% cacao and no sugar listed as one of the top 3 ingredients. The snacks on the third shelf are higher in carbs than those in the lower tiers, or they are more processed. So the higher we climb on the pyramid, the less often the snacks should be consumed, maybe a couple of times a week or less, depending again on your tolerance. You will notice that dark chocolate reappears on shelf 3. The dark chocolate included here can be 70 to 84% cacao with no sugar listed as one of the top 3 ingredients. That low sugar requirement can be challenging to find, so read the label. Too much added sugar and this snack will stimulate your appetite. This shelf is also where we find nut butters like almond butter and similar nut spreads. Now you'll notice that the higher we go up the pyramid, the more label reading is required. It is easy to sneak sugar into these snacks. Typically, the fewer ingredients in a product, the better off you are. In fact, you can find one ingredient spreads that only contain the ground nuts. I put some of the lowest net carb fruits on shelf 3. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I recommend counting total carbs rather than net carbs. However, when it comes to fruit as a snack, it is good to consider the fiber content because that is what locks in the natural sugar, slowing its absorption. Mixing fruit with fat and protein will further slow absorption. For instance, mixing fruit into cottage cheese or yogurt. With those things in mind, snack-friendly fruits with the lowest net carb count include berries and melons, specifically blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew. Peaches also have a relatively low net carb count. Blueberries are a bit higher in net carbs, so if you have a hard time losing weight, limit your intake or choose one of the other berries that I have mentioned. And I have a full list of low-carb fruits that I will point you to. I put popcorn on the 3rd shelf. However, remember that snacks on this tier should be limited to a couple of times a week or less and may not work at all for keto dieters. In other words, if popcorn is nearby, you may be able to have a handful, but don't sit down with a big bowl every night. To give you a reference, 1 cup, about the size of your fist, of plain popcorn has about 6 grams of carbs and 1 gram of fiber. If you don't trust that you can stop at 1 cup, don't pop it in the first place. Adding butter and salt adds fat and flavor, but also makes it more addictive, so snackers beware. I will include processed lunch meats here on shelf 3. These are not healthy foods, so you don't want to buy them as a regular snack. But if you are out and about and find yourself with no other option, these can be consumed occasionally. Finally, there are some snacks out there that have nutritional value but are not low carb. Depending on your carb tolerance, you may be able to enjoy small portions of these foods from time to time. These shelf 4 snacks include higher carb fruits such as oranges, apples, pineapples, and grapes. Here I also included snacks that have some health value but no added sugar, namely hummus, dates, honey, granola, keto snack bars, and fermented drinks like kefir and kombucha. Okay, there you have it from my perspective. Let me know in the comments below if you feel that I left anything out or have something on the wrong shelf. If you want to download this pyramid, I did turn it into a 1-page PDF and put it in the blog post on my website that goes with this video. You can download a free copy at drbeckyfitness.com/snacks. It is a great reference to keep you on track. If you are not already a subscriber, please click the subscribe button for me. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.